If you watch this video till to the end, I'm gonna convince you that the new digital renaissance man is what you need to be. A bit about the idea. The new digital renaissance man is a powerful man who controls his life. There is no one that he depends on. He doesn't depend on government, it doesn't depend on a specific country, it doesn't depend on money at all. He lives a life of absolute financial freedom and location freedom, and this is what my brothers, me and you should be. The idea was first put forward by the YouTuber Iman Gadzhi. I really admire him for this idea, and I want you guys to watch his video after you have done this. So before I get into the topic, I want you guys to know a little about me, as I'm a perfect fit of this topic. My name is Zubair. I live in Pakistan, which is pretty poor country, and I'm a proud college dropout. So the new digital renaissance idea is just about gaining the control and freedom of your life. If you become the new digital renaissance man, you can actually take back the control of your life and live the kind of life that you can only imagine now. And to be the new digital renaissance man, you need to have location freedom and financial freedom, which by the way is open to everyone. Well, simply put, you just need to have an online business that is not bounded by the rules of a country. More on this later, but for now I want to relate to your situation by giving a few examples from my life. And I want you guys to actually understand the problem statement in a bigger picture so that we can really see the importance of the new digital renaissance man. So in my case, I live in a country which is pretty much poor, which is going to be bankrupt, and there is just too much corruption. All of these things are out of my control. I cannot do anything about it, and the worst is it is making my life harder and harder. So here in this country, the average pay of a PhD professor is $500 a month, and literally this is considered to be a dream job. So I have to waste like 28 years of my life to get a degree that would be just enough to pay the bills. And this, by the way, is not only limited to jobs, it has affected business market too. Any business owner that's making like $500 a month would be considered as the most successful businessman in this country. So here I'm just talking about the problem of money making, financial freedom. And at some point in my life, I was convinced to believe that earning more than $500 in this country is simply not possible. Because if a PhD professor is not making more than that, I stand no chance at all. As it is said, you're the fifth of the four you hang around with. Here in this country, in my surroundings, there is no one that believes that earning a lot of money in your young days is simply possible. If you're born poor, if you're not born rich, you simply cannot surpass the average life. Now I was able to find the digital renaissance, and the digital renaissance is, by the way, not only about the financial freedom, it is about the location freedom too. So the key word here is location freedom. There are people that I personally know, they have money, they're rich, but they're not happy. Simply because they have to go to the same place every day and do their job. If they don't go to their business, it doesn't make money. There is no way they can take a month off and go around the world and enjoy their lives. And it is just not about getting the trip around the world, it is about the freedom. Because their businesses are dependent on a location, they're still living a life of poor quality, even being rich. With the amount of money they have, they could simply live a very good life just by moving to a different country. But because their businesses are dependent on a country, on a specific location, they have to live a very poor quality life. Speaking of a country, there comes politics and some powerful people, which Iman Gadzhi calls the puppet masters. They actually want to control your life. These puppet masters manipulate all these people. Because all of these PhD professors and the big business owners which are physical, they are dependent on the government. So they have got no option. Whatever the puppet masters have to say, they will have to accept it. They simply have got no freedom in their lives. So ladies and gentlemen, it's not just my story. I'm sure you can relate to it too. And that's where the digital renaissance man fits in. You have a business that's not dependent on any location. Then you don't have to give a shit what these puppet masters say. You will enjoy the freedom of your life with no restrictions whatsoever. I was in college when I was first introduced to the idea of digital renaissance man, and it simply blew my mind away. Because back then I had two options: either first start a physical business, or you have to spend a lot of money and time, and in return you have to hope that it works someday. Which, by the way, I tried, and thank God it didn't work out. I'm so happy. The second option was to get a PhD degree, spend all all of your young days studying bullshit, and in return you are just going to get paid enough to pay your bills. I was certainly not happy with either of them. So when I heard Iman Gadzhi talking about the digital renaissance idea, it simply clicked. I knew this is what I wanted to be. I knew I cannot gain financial freedom by going the traditional way of doing business. At least simply not in this poor country. But even if I managed to get a financial freedom, I would still not be happy. I would still be a slave because of the politics of the country. I would still have to live all my life here in this country, which I don't really want to. And that's when my story begins. That's when I decided to drop out of college. I thought to myself, even if I failed, it won't be a big loss. At the end of the day, I just need to have a skill. I don't need to invest in anything. I need to learn a skill and offer my services to people. In the beginning, I did a lot of different things that didn't work out. I just failed at so many things. But then like 1 month before, I started a YouTube channel where I started teaching crypto. And to my surprise, it worked out. Now I'm already earning an average pay of a bachelor degree holder in this country, which by the way is $70 or $80 a month. Literally, a bachelor degree holder in this country earns $60 or $70 a month. So the difference between me and a bachelor degree holder is they have to go to the same place every day. They have to do the same thing over and over, even if they don't like it. And above all, they're working for someone else, making someone else's business grow. While me, I'm working for myself. My business is location independent. I can work from anywhere around the world. At least I know it's a business and it's growing. The worst part is if I had to go the traditional route, it would have taken me 2 more years to reach to this level, and still I would be dependent on someone. That's the power of digital renaissance men. You're not dependent on your country, you're not dependent on your situation. Just make the good use of internet and boom, you're going to drastically change your life that you wouldn't even have imagined. When you start a digital business, it's like you open a shop in a global market where millions of dollars are flowing. So people are actually spending millions of dollars. You just need to be in front of them. You just need to take a share of it. Business requires you to just have a skill. And quite frankly, I have never paid a dime to learn a skill. You can learn everything on YouTube for absolutely free. So literally, you're just one skill away of building an empire. When you have built an online business, you're not dependent on a country, you're not dependent on any location. You absolutely have no regrets in your life. The good part about the online business is there is no entry barrier whatsoever. It is open for everyone. Literally, you just have to learn a skill. You might be living in a poor country as mine, but it doesn't even matter because you can pick a client from a very rich part of the world. That's the beauty of internet. You might be surrounded by very poor people, but you can still pick an incredibly rich client from a very rich part of the world. So the new digital renaissance men are going to change the business works. They are going to be thought producers. They are going to be the leaders of the world. They are the only people living a life of dreams and absolute freedom. They control their own life. No one tells them what to do. They choose what they want to do. So are you going to be the next digital renaissance man? Or you just want to go the traditional route and let the puppet masters control your life? The decision is in your hands. It's now or never.